Apart from increased features and improvements in productivity and graphics management, the IGSS Development Team has also added new and improved features for the end users of IGSS, the operators and super users at the plants. Operators can save a list of open diagrams and graphs and later restore all of them in the Supervise module. This is helpful if operators use several key diagrams constantly and need to open them all quickly, or perhaps if they spend most, if not all of their time monitoring a selected few diagrams. Let's open a few diagrams and graphs and then save the list. I have two open diagrams and now two open graphs. Now, save the open diagrams and graphs in a list. By the way, the maximum number of open diagrams defined in the System Configuration Form will limit the number of open diagrams in the Supervise module. This, in turn, limits the number of open diagrams and graphs you can have in the diagram list. I will open a diagram from another area, which will close all open diagrams in other areas. None of the old diagrams and graphs are now opened. Let's open them. The old diagrams are now opened, and the old diagram from the training area has been closed. Incidentally, you can set up your IGSS system to keep diagrams and graphs open when changing areas here. And you can select to only keep diagrams and only keep graphs open, or select both checkboxes. By default, you can only have one saved diagram per view list per physical machine. But if you use the User Administration module to define users and user rights, you can have one saved list per user. IGSS has implemented a broadcasting system which allows you to send a text message of up to 400 characters to all online stations. You could, for instance, inform all stations of upcoming disturbances or irregularities, as well as ensuring the message is constantly displayed. You cannot target individual stations, and this is not a chat system, as all messages are broadcast to all online stations. You can prevent the receiving stations from closing the message, although they can minimize it. You can also set an expiry date for the message itself. The message will be displayed with the date and time, as well as which station sent the message. Note that if you want to reply to the message, you must create a new broadcast. There is no reply button. If you are using the User Administration module, you can get the Supervise module to return the diagram setup defined as the initial display whenever a user logs out of the system, or when a user is automatically logged out of the system. This must be set up in the System Configuration form. And select the checkbox. Of course, like I said, you must be using the User Administration module in order to have a logout procedure which will trigger the initial display diagrams. In the Supervise module, when you right-click an object to open the object properties, an operator will be able to see all information on all tabs, even information which, for the vast majority of operators, is not interesting, relevant, or can even be useless and confusing. You can remove all tabs which contain information which an operator cannot affect, or which is not relevant information for the operator. This is a setting in the System Configuration form. Now, only those tab pages which offer relevant and usable information, or information which the operator can affect, is displayed. When this checkbox is selected, the following tab pages only will be displayed for the following object types. One of the more technical changes has been the option of enabling the operator to open a diagram or graph from the property menu of an object. In the Q1 Objects property menu, a new menu option has been created that opens the refuse diagram or opens the PST levels graph. In addition to diagrams and graphs, you can also create the menu options link to open faceplate diagrams. In order to edit the property menu, a caption and command must be defined for each diagram, graph, or faceplate. You can do this in the definition module. Here in the definition module, we can open the Object Properties form, and in the Data Management Definitions tab, in the User-Defined Entries for Command field, you can see the command and syntax for opening diagrams, faceplates, and graphs. The text in the square brackets is the text which is displayed to the user in the object menu. You can call it a kind of caption text. The #open is the command to open a diagram, graph, or faceplate. And the following syntax is the element, the diagram, graph, or faceplate, to be opened. You can define the area that the element is located in. You must type the exact name of the diagram as well as the area. If you misspell these elements, the operator will not be able to open the diagrams. Since you only have one line to enter any commands, you can create a line break by using the pipe symbol. Here the pipe symbol ensures each command is placed in its own line. You can separate commands by using the semicolon. You can now directly view the number of objects you have purchased compared to the number of objects in use in the configuration in the IGSS master. In the master, click the About button. The total number of purchased objects can be seen here, and the number of used or deployed objects in the configuration is seen here. The first number is the number of input-output objects in use, and the second number is the total number of input-output objects purchased through the license. The number is the total number of all objects in use, with the second number being the total number of licensed purchased objects. The number of auxiliary objects is therefore the difference between these two numbers. The access rights that apply to the maintenance module have all been collected in a separate maintenance global right, instead of being part of the can-define global right. The new maintenance right is called the can-edit maintenance jobs, and a user who has access to this global right may create, edit, and delete maintenance jobs, as well as edit job descriptions and job notes. Of course, if you're not using IGSS User Administration module, then operators will have all the maintenance rights as usual. If you're using the maintenance module to manage maintenance of your objects, a number of new methods have been introduced which will enable you to create maintenance jobs faster when you're monitoring the plant. You can create a new maintenance job as a copy of an existing job, or you can select another object for the same job type. The object can be a maintenance object or an indicator object, or both. You can also create a new maintenance job for the same indicator object. You can change the job type and change the maintenance object, but not the indicator object. You can also create a new maintenance job for the same object, but change the job type. Only those job types which can be assigned to the indicator object will be accessible. These two new methods for creating maintenance jobs can reduce the time required to create jobs that are very identical. If you are printing a job list of pending maintenance tasks, you can now print all pending jobs on one page instead of printing one job per page, which is the default for the maintenance module. This is called a simple list, rather simple maintenance list, where all data for the jobs are listed, except job descriptions and notes. These will not be included in the simple list maintenance job. If you're printing maintenance job lists by using the job scheduler, the -simple parameter will print the job list with multiple jobs per page.